This is the 864 podcast from Rob of the Green, providing you with some insights, ideas, and actionable takeaways in just 864 seconds, or 1% of your day, with the explicit goal of making you get a little better, even if it's just 1%. Here's your host, Rob O'Donoghue. Let's do this.
Hello there, and welcome to the 864 podcast, which is typically 864 seconds long, but in this one I'm breaking the rules, and I hope you don't mind me doing so, but I will keep the intro to a minimum. So, if you're new to the podcast, welcome along. Thanks for checking it out. Great to have you here. If you're returning, it's always great to have you guys back. This is a spin-off show to my other podcast, the 1% Better podcast. That's number 1% Better podcast. It's a longer form show. Right now I have over 70 episodes released into season 2. There's a link to that show in the show notes. I'm taking the opportunity here, if I have new listeners, to tell them about that. So bear with me. I'd be honoured if you checked it out. So as I said, this one is traditionally 864 seconds long. That's actually 14 minutes, 24 seconds, or 1% of 24 hours, 1% of your day, ties into the 1% Better theme. And it's all about finding little bits of wisdom, knowledge that a listener can take on board from a guest, from some part of their life that they shared, that you might be inspired by and help you improve, get that little bit better. It's all about betterness in one or many ways. So, as I said, breaking the rules, this one is probably 1500 seconds long, but I'm not going to change the name of the podcast just for this show. But then again, I don't get to talk with Rosanna Arquette that frequently. I'm taking liberty here. So forgive me for that. Enjoy the podcast. And my only ask, I'm probably multi-folded, but if you do enjoy it, come back for more, subscribe, tell somebody about it, leave a rating or review on iTunes or any of those apps that do that sort of thing. Go to the website, sign up to the newsletter, Rob of the Green's newsletter. I'd be really, really appreciative of you doing any of those, because it helps me get the message out there and hopefully helps people in some way, shape or form improve and get better. Okay, as the intro voiceover guy says, let's do this. Enjoy my conversation with Rosanna Arquette. Hey folks, welcome to the 864 podcast, another episode, and this one is definitely a highlight so far in the series. I'm talking with and delighted to introduce Rosanna Arquette from Hollywood this morning. Rosanna, good morning in Hollywood.
Good morning. Good morning from Hollywood. That sounds so funny. I never think of myself, but actually, yes, I guess I live in this crazy community, but people call Hollywood, and it's not that glamorous. Let me tell you.
Well, one of the things I promised you before we started, and I suppose my podcast is around, values and around the person. So we're going to talk about you more than the Hollywood extravaganza that's going on there. And the first question I'd like to ask, and it just came up for me about 20 minutes ago. I was just looking through Twitter, and I noticed you posted that it's your mum's anniversary today. 21 years ago she passed away.
Yes.
You mentioned about, this was the values or what she taught you. Could you talk to me about some of the values that she taught you growing up and that you've developed over the years and that you, I suppose, live by?
Well, I mean, one of the things I can also start off with is that when I was 4 years old and we lived in New York City, I was born in New York, she would take me on the subway to a school in Harlem. And it was an all-black nursery school. She wanted to integrate it, and I was the only white child in an all-black nursery school. So right there, then and there, it was just like, this is what it's supposed to be. You know, you love your fellow man, no matter what color their skin is. That was instilled in us from the very beginning. So I have really strong memories of that in my spirit and my soul. I was always went into I was always in schools that were diverse, and my mom, if she looked upon anything with disgust and disdain, was wealthy people. And I remember when I started making my own money and having money, and we all were successful in our own right, but it was like she kind of, had a real hard time with it, which was a big struggle for me, because it was like, wait, is it not okay to make a living? Is it not okay to be successful? I do give a lot, and, just even I'm having a problem right now. You give so much and then it's not enough for anybody. Sometimes it feels like people are, wanting more, and they think because you have it, but, we all have our own bills to pay, and it may look like good on the outside, but you still have, like schools and many, many, many things. But the values that she instilled in us were, loving your fellow man and taking care of other people. And I think if you're going to have a platform as an actor that people know, it was really important that, we do the right thing, and all of us do in our own ways, every one of us. Patricia, in her own Oscar speech, talked about gender equality and being paid, the same as a man, and she did that in her Oscar speech, which was galvanized. Was already something that was a conversation that's been talked about for years, but to have that kind of billion people watching in that moment was really powerful, and it sparked the conversation to come to the forefront again, which was really important. So I think my mother is always, she instilled that. I mean, we marched when I was a kid, and I've told this story often, but with Martin Luther King, and that was, I got to meet him, and I was in the back of a truck with him, and it was an anti-war march that my mother was one of the organizers of. But if she was alive now, which is what I wrote on Twitter, she'd be, resisting, organizing, and registering everybody to vote, because what we're seeing in America right now is quite frightening. We've never been here. And there's the basic decency, the values of this country and what it was built upon are being attacked every minute of every day. And as much as you get sick of reading your Twitter feed and seeing what's going on, to stay connected and see, it's almost like he wants to saturate everybody so that you get bored and tired and turn off from it. I'm about to go away, and I have a lot going on, and I have to leave town, but and I won't be able to get to my Twitter as usual, and I feel kind of like, ooh, am I going to be in touch? Am I going to be okay with the people that I keep in touch with only on Twitter? Some people, there's a man named Lance who works very hard for the Flint crisis and the water in Flint, Michigan, which is just toxic and filled with lead, and kids are everybody's getting very, very ill from it, and it's been like that for almost 4 years, and they're not doing anything about it. And so I keep in touch with him a lot, trying to help him raise awareness. I mean, it's in other cities too, but they've particularly really been slammed hard, and they have no clean water. It's horrendous.
Well, obviously I can see from here in Ireland on Twitter all the time as well, the constant barrage of news or information that's coming out. How do you stay positive? How do you deal with that negativity out there?
So that's a really important question, because what starts to happen is that we're all in a constant collective consciousness of fear and negativity, and it's a spiral, and it is an energy, and it's a strong, powerful energy, and a vortex that spins you out of control. And I have been brought into actually a huge anxiety, depression from it all, and I have had to really work hard, wake up in the morning and be grateful to what I like to consider God. A lot of people don't want to say God, but whatever to me is the highest form of love, which is the love energy, God to me, and just really stay in gratitude, which is if you're in gratitude, you can't be in fear. And really, even if it's just writing it in front of you, the gratitude list of what you're grateful for, and even if it's just to be able to open your eyes and breathe and start there, whatever it is that is you're grateful for. And some days feels like, gosh, I give up. But to be able to just stay in gratitude is really important.
But look, you're keeping going, and that's the most important thing.
We keep going, and we have to just keep. I really do believe in democracy, which they're trying to dismantle in this country. And I think voting and getting these kids, the thing that gives what I'm inspired by right now are these young people, the Parkland students who watched their great friends before they were graduating all be slaughtered, and in their grief and in their despair and in their trauma, they galvanized a movement that is so powerful and so important. And for me, they're our future, and they inspire me every day. And they're getting people to vote, and they are the future of America. And so I'm inspired by their energy.
Where do you see, I didn't want to, not necessarily bringing this into politics, but it's gone there, so talk about what is the solution, or where do you see this coming to a positive outcome, or what needs to happen, do you think?
Well, what's happening, like, for instance, the Parkland students, there's so many grassroots movements that are happening, and the awareness. But like when you have a president who's is just lying about everything, and then has supporters that saying that we are lying about everything, and going attacking the brilliant press that are exposing the truth every day, or even the Republican who's a Mueller who happens to be a Republican, and everything that he's working on by exposing the darkness and the lies and the twisted things. I mean, I think it goes so deep, and we're just seeing the beginning of this. Is just the beginning, a needle in a haystack of the corruption that we're about to that's going to come up. I do believe that good will always we shall overcome. Good versus evil, and goodness will win. We will win this. We will. There are much more good people. There are many more good people than there are evil. That's what I'm going to stick with right now. As much as there are so many dark, horrible people out there, I'm going to focus on the good, and I do believe that we shall overcome.
Very good. In the world we're in now, who are the positive influences that you draw upon that gives you that strength, and that helps you look forward?
The youth, the young people who are actually, they're the future of America. I mean, we have to support them, because they are the future. They have the energy. They are out there. They're out there on a tour right now, registering people to vote, which is so important. And hopefully we'll get back to that's a whole other conversation about the voting, and the computers that got tampered with, and the corruption that's happened. But anyway, it goes on and on. We can just go on and on about these things, but these are the things that really matter to me. I know I have a television show that's out, and it's hard to talk about your career when it just seems so kind of inauthentic and in a lot of ways. But like everybody's like, you got to post your show. Why are you posting all this political stuff? It's like, I'm just so embarrassed to do that. But okay, you do it. Okay, watch my show.
Well, I think I was thinking about the interview beforehand, and I generally like to dive into real, tangible, real life stuff, and that talk about the maybe, as you said, less so important at the end. But it is important. It seems like you're in a career perspective, you're probably very, very busy now. Things are going in a good direction for you. Would that be fair to say?
I mean, I've always worked. I mean, I've had. Did I have huge road bumps? I am one of the women that came out against Harvey Weinstein in the beginning, and this story really brought the Toronto Burke's Me Too movement up to the forefront, and then the Time's Up, and they all kind of, built the momentum based on women coming out and telling the truth. And it was really daring and really scary, and it's really hard to do that. And what Ronan Farrow exposed is, the spying, which continues, and the sabotage, and all of that, continues to happen here and there. I mean, I have a career, but I don't have an agent. I do my thing. I have a good attorney and a manager, and keep going, and I get work around the world. Thank God I don't have to rely just on Hollywood, or else I'd really be in trouble. I can work in other places in the world, and I actually prefer to. Just love nothing more to get a job and work in Ireland.
You never know who's listening.
I love it there.
You might get over. Just on the Harvey Weinstein, I'm not going to protract questions around that, but when that came out, knowing you've had a secret for so long, how did you feel once it came out? Was it a weight off? Did it open up a Pandora's box of pain, or how did that?
It opened a lot of. What it did was, the beautiful part, the positive part, was that women across the world reached out that were silent and scared in their fear and traumatized for so many years that they had to hold on to these secrets, and then they were able, in some way, it gave them permission to be able to tell their stories. And because of that, we've all, I feel like we're I've said this, but like we're holding hands across the world as in a sisterhood of support and watching the women. I was not raped by Harvey, but I was, assaulted in a way that, it was creepy, and and my career was severely damaged. And as much as he, likes to deny anything happened, but oh my gosh, it was pretty bad. And but the women that were physically harmed and raped, and still continue to be bullied and told that they're liars and they're crazy, I stand behind them, and it's really important that for me that they get justice, and I hope they do. And then there's things that I can do later, but I'm not making it about me. I'm just really about supporting them right now so that they get their justice, and then we'll see how it goes. Hopefully he'll go to jail, but I'm not banking on it because money talks, and God knows most people have bought their way out of these things, and he so far has been able to buy his way out of a lot.
Well, let's hope justice gets served, certainly there. Yeah. I'm just conscious of the time, and I want to be respectful to you. Just a couple of quick ones. A phrase or a cliche that you kind of live by. Is there something that you always say that you really believe in? Anything come up for you there?
Well, in the back of my car is a bumper sticker. I have two signs that are going on. The March for Our Lives, which is a big sign that I carried, and the March for Our Lives, which is against gun violence. And that is in the window, you see it as we drive on the window ledge of my car. Sure. And on the back is a bumper sticker that says, "No human being is illegal."
Very good.
And that is what I believe.
Very good. A book that you would recommend that's had a massive impact on you? I like to share book recommendations.
Oh, I'm really loving Mary Beard's, and I've already read it, but I kind of been carrying it around with me because it's a small book. It's Women in Power. It's a manifesto by Mary Beard. And I just keep reading it over and over, some of her things in here. It's good. But I've got so many books. I'm finally going to take a little rest. So here's what's beside me right now. Mothers. It's an essay on love and cruelty by Jacqueline Rose. And I'm reading. I love these guys, the Duplass brothers. Like brothers, Mark Duplass and Jay Duplass, they're in the business, and they're really interesting guys. And I've got Eve Babbitt's Sex and Rage. I decided to reread that, and I have a Rumi book next to me. Okay. I've got a lot of political things I've been reading. This is a book that I think is really important. Hold on, I have to.
Yeah, take your time.
It's Healing from Hate. And it's how young men get in and out of violent extremism, and it's by Michael Kimmel.
Oh, okay.
That is really, yeah.
Some good ones.
Should I just have any fun books or anything? And just it's hilarious, all the books that are around me right now. I mean, my whole bookcase is filled with. I've got witches, sluts, and feminists.
Very good. This is turning into a book show, so keep going. It's all right.
Sorry. Huh?
Keep going.
It's conjuring the sex positive is what's going on. I just have many books around me. Here's Out of Your Mind by Alan Watts. I mean, it's now starting things are piling up here. I'll go to the bookstore and then go, okay, I'm going to read this, and then then I've got going on vacation and stuff to take. I just got the memoir by Francois Hardy. This is Despair Monkeys. So yeah, and then there's all these women here that sent me their books about their trauma.
Sure.
Like Caitlin. Oh,
that's actually how we connected. Was through Madeleine Black, who wrote a book. And she reached out to me to say thank you for making the connection and certainly for your support all the way through. So yeah, I think she sent you a copy as well.
Okay, well she's wonderful, and then there's this lovely girl from the UK, Caitlin Spencer, and she has a book called Please Let Me Go, which I'm really trying. It's a horrific story of a true story of the hands of sex traffickers. That happened to her. Winnie M. Lee, Dark Chapter. So I've gotten all these women have sent me their books, and they're really powerful and different stories, and it just goes on and on and on. I'll get it. I think it all leads to what's happened to the porn industry. It's gotten so dark and twisted and awful, and where young boys are just on porn sites all day long, and by the time they're like 14, and by the time they're 17, they can't get an erection anymore. Now is this okay to say on a podcast?
This is fine.
In Ireland. I'm sorry.
All people listen to this. I think it's okay.
But that's what's happening, and they've done all these studies, and then so what happens? They resort to violence. We're seeing a rise in rapes, especially in colleges, and it's all connected.
Sure.
And I know it's like we got to bring the light. It's just getting dark in every area, and for me, these children that are locked up and caged, and what they're finding, and they are going to find, and they are finding. I mean, they're being sold into sex trafficking. That's what's happening. And where are they? They're gone.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And do they want to? Nobody wants to deal with that. But if you really look and do the history of the president of the United States, the history of his beauty pageants and his casinos, what do you think was going on there? It's a whole industry. What is Putin's like? What is his work? What is the things that they do so well? Don't they have like a huge industry in sex trafficking in Russia? I mean, there's something so dark in this. It's one of the biggest money makers in the world. And it used to be weapons and drugs, and now it's becoming the sex industry.
Well, I think by you sharing those stories from those ladies that are sending you the books and tweeting about it, it's raising the awareness. It's having a positive impact and getting those stories out there, and hopefully, ultimately making a difference. I would imagine. I
don't know. I mean, I told you, I had like 300,000 followers, and then 2 days before the show came out, they just disappeared. So that was really interesting. It's like, not that I care about the follower thing, but what I care about is getting information out there to people.
Sure.
So that's what's really important. It's not about like following me. It's just, but getting information out to a lot of people, and it's just that was so kind of bizarre. And the Twitter thing, it was like a Twitter cleanup, but it only seemed to really affect a few people that I know, and I certainly didn't have 300,000 bots.
Sure, of course not. It's madness. Yeah, I did notice it, and I think I was reading around the time over the last few weeks of X amount being wiped from so many accounts. Like, it's probably a timing thing. I do want to wrap up on just giving your show a shout out. I think it's important that we talk a little bit about it. It's called Sideswiped. It was YouTube. All the episodes released at the same time.
So it's YouTube originals. They've YouTube has their own programming. Like they're doing their own network now of shows and stuff, and they have quite a nice audience. And so if you have YouTube, you get YouTube Prime, and that gives you YouTube Originals, which also has an amazing music station.
Sure.
And there's a show called Sideswiped, and it's about the dating app world. Here we are, and I'm the mom of this 35-year-old woman who is figuring out what happened to her life. I had her when I was 18, and my husband dies, and I move in with her, and I never got to have fun or play or do anything, so she also goes in the dating app world, and we have a lot of fun guest stars. We have Rick Springfield came on, and he plays himself.
I think you were going on a date with him. I saw that piece. All right, yeah.
It's fun for laughter and stuff. I like it. It's fun. It's fun to do comedy. It's a light comedic, a little racy sometimes show that is what it is, and happy to be, I like working.
Sure.
Sometimes I see, I don't know if you have the show Succession over there with Brian Cox. I have a movie that's coming out with Brian Cox who I love so much. It's one of the most. It's a complete masterpiece.
Okay.
I wish I'd love to be in a show like that also.
Right.
That's a serious, wow. I mean, it's just, you've never seen anything like it. It's so good.
Okay. And what is that on Netflix? Is it
No, it's on HBO.
HBO, okay.
It's really good.
We probably have it over here as well, yeah.
Yeah, it's extraordinary.
Okay.
Just the acting of everybody in it is just brilliant. There's just not one false bad performance of anybody. And that's really great. So yeah, it's fun to work and to be an actress, and I'll continue to work. Jim Sheridan's over there. He made one of my favorite movies ever in America. It's one of my favorite movies. I've seen it over and over and over. I love that movie so much, and I love him as a director, and that would be a dream, get to work with somebody like him one day.
I might just ask one movie question, and it's not going to be about Madonna, so don't worry about that. And it maybe even moving from an actor into becoming a director and a producer, how did you find that transition? Or was there any, I suppose, takeaways or skills that you really had to learn or develop very quickly in that kind of shift?
Well, I did documentaries, 2 documentaries, but what I did love is the editing process, because you could, even I just asked the questions, and then the film, it was all in the editing and putting, the story together, which was amazing and fun, and I really did love doing that. I do have a feature that I want to direct, and I feel really confident about that. I definitely know actors and want to work with them. I have such wonderful actors that I admire that are great friends of mine, and one day I would love to be able to do like Laura Dern, who's one of my dear friends, and Melanie Griffith, and like just fun, great, wonderful, talented actors that are out there. Ben Mendelsohn and Lola Kirk. I mean, these are all people that I'd love to work with someday.
Cool. Well, look, you've been really, really good with your time. I think we've gone over 10 minutes, but I wasn't going to stop this one for anything, and happy to chat for ages. But Rosanna, it was so nice to talk to you. I really appreciate it.
Nice to talk to you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. And sorry if I'm rambling away.
Rambling is...
I'm very ADD, as you can tell, and that's the deal. So I just go where my mind takes me sometimes, and maybe as long as it takes me on a good road, we're good.
Yeah, no, definitely. I was more than happy to be sitting back listening to all of that. It was great to hear what's going on for you, and I hope everything goes in the positive and upward trajectory. I hope you enjoy your vacation. Are you going anywhere nice?
Yeah, I'm not going to say it out loud, but I'll be, I'll be out your way soon.
Oh, really? Okay, very good.
I mean, not Ireland, but I'll be around the UK, and
Okay, cool. Well, safe travels. Have a nice restful time, and it was great chatting with you. I look forward to sharing this with your 50,000 Twitter followers and the 300,000 bots that are probably listening somewhere.
They went from 350,000 to but that's okay.
That's all right.
It's all good, and at the end of the day, what does it really mean? Just keep going and being yourself, and
exactly
all that stuff.
That's the key thing.
How much it really does matter.
Just keep going and be yourself, and as we started off with those kind of core values you took from your mum, maybe just keep those in mind.
Yes. Brilliant.
All right, Rosanna, have a great Monday. Have a great week. Thanks again so much.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Good luck.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. Hey folks, so that was the 864, 864 seconds or thereabouts, and I hope you enjoyed it. Was there one key takeaway that stood out? Was it good? Was it bad? I would love to hear about it. So in the few seconds that remain, and to be fair, I've probably gone over, but I have a few asks. Please do subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts or iTunes so that you never miss another show. You've heard that one before. I would love if you leave a rating and or a review. All of these help get the show further up the rankings, which means more people see the podcast and then hopefully hear it. It means a lot to me. Follow me on Rob of the Green or on Spreaker.com/Rob of the Green. That's where all the podcasts are hosted, but on the Rob of the Green site you can get to everything. The 1% Better podcast, this one, the 1 minute Monday videos, and you can also connect in with me through the website. There's a feedback page, or on any of the socials. Just look for @RobOfTheGreen or Rob of the Green. I think you get the picture. Finally, give yourselves a round of applause because you've all been so lovely, and thanks for listening. Have a great day and good luck.